Well, good morning and welcome to Northern Light Center for Spiritual Living. Northern Light Center for Spiritual Living is a community of people dedicated to using spiritual and practical principles to create lives we want to live. And Northern Light Center for Spiritual Living offers practical and spiritual tools to make positive changes where? In our lives. And our promise is to reveal, inspire, uplift, celebrate, and magnify your greatness. We acknowledge our presence here on the traditional and unceded lands of the first people of Seattle, the Duwamish and Coastal Salish peoples. These people are still here, and we join with them in how they continue to honor and bring to light their ancient heritage. We seek to resist the erasure of Indigenous histories as we work towards honoring and inviting the truth. In a similar manner, we acknowledge how much of what we know in this country today, its culture, economic growth and development throughout history and across time, has been made possible by the labor of enslaved Africans and their ascendants who suffered the horrors of transatlantic trafficking, chattel slavery, and Jim Crow. We also name the Asian and Chicano people who toiled with little recognition. We are indebted to their labor and their sacrifices, and we acknowledge the tremors of that violence throughout the generations and the resulting impacts that are still felt and witnessed today. Please join me for our opening song in this very room by Ron and Carol Harris. Service for our meditation. So I'm going to ask you to find a comfortable position. Maybe notice the support of the chair under you if you're seated. Just notice the temperature of the air on your skin. And in this place, just consciously breathe in. And as you breathe in, pay attention as your chest expands. And as you breathe out, pay attention to your body as you let the air release. Find the pace of breath, the breath in and the breath out, that suits you in this moment. And in the awareness of that breath coming in and going out, allow yourself to reflect on how change is a constant of our lives. It's impossible to simply hold our breath. We have to release it at some point. And in that awareness of change, just let the assorted changes that occur, that are occurring, to come to mind. Some of those changes may be things that you consider with delight. Some of those changes may evoke feelings of regret or a sense of loss. With the breath in and the breath out, whatever the sensation, delight or grief, ease or difficulty, just give yourself the space to be with whatever is. How often have we told ourselves that we should feel or be different? What would happen if we changed that directive to simply be what we are? Rumi talked about our emotions coming into us like house guests that may tear up the furniture. What if rather than wishing the destruction of those house guests, we welcome them? We welcome our joy, our discontent. And we consider a moment of conversation. What do they have to teach us? What might we learn? What might we become in their presence? with each breath in, simply give yourself the grace to be with what is. To learn what it has to teach. To go forward in the actions and steps that are suggested. If there are any ahas or, oh, just pack them into your awareness. If nothing like that came, again, give yourself the grace that you can receive insight and inspiration at any moment. Once again, become aware of your rising and falling chest. The breath in and out. Become aware of the chair you're sitting in or the ground under you, the air on your skin. And as you feel ready, open your eyes and come back to the room. And I say, Amen, Ashe, and so it is. I was going to say, hearing this by the rocket. Once upon a time in the early 1800s, lived a remarkable woman named Harriet Tubman. Born into slavery, to enslavement on a plantation in Maryland, she experienced the harsh realities and dehumanizing conditions that enslaved individuals face daily. She witnessed that cruelty firsthand. Watching families torn apart, she heard the cries of pain and sorrow and felt the heavy weight of oppression on her own spirit. These experiences, though incredibly uncomfortable and painful, awakened fierce determination within her to seek freedom. The discomfort of her situation fueled her courage and resilience, pushing her to take action. One night, Harriet made a daring escape, leaving everything she had ever known behind to embark on a treacherous journey, guided only by the North Star and her unwavering faith in freedom. She encountered countless obstacles and faced constant danger. She hid during the day, relying on the kindness of strangers along the Underground Railroad network to provide her with shelter and sustenance. Though discomfort plagued every step, Harriet pressed on, determination never faltering. After months of perilous travel and close encounters with slave hunters, Harriet finally reached the free state of Pennsylvania. But instead of settling into a life of freedom and comfort, instead she chose to dedicate herself to helping others escape the bonds of enslavement. Harriet became a fearless conductor on the Underground Railroad, leading numerous enslaved individuals to freedom. With every journey she undertook, she saw the discomfort and longing for liberation mirrored in the eyes of those she rescued. Her stories and struggles only fueled her resolve to continue her mission. Harriet Tubman's story teaches us that it is often in the midst of our most uncomfortable and challenging moments that we find the strength to create change. The discomfort she experienced as an enslaved person propelled her to seek freedom, and in doing so, she helped pave the way for the liberation of countless others. Her remarkable journeys remind us of the powers of resilience, determination, and the pursuit of a better tomorrow. And so it is. So as you may have gathered from what's on the screen and what you may see on your screen at home, we have our declaration. And we go through this 3 times. Hopefully we'll build in a sense of commitment. We are an expanding and loving community, working in a field of infinite potential. We are an expanding and loving community, working in a field of infinite potential. And finally, we are an expanding and loving community, working in a field of infinite potential. And so it is.
Never mind.
We have a new chant for this new month. You'll see the words, and hopefully it'll be easy to sing along. My heartbreak makes me bigger. My heartache makes me strong. My heartbreak makes me figure all the places I belong. Sometimes I feel hungry. Sometimes I feel full. Sometimes sad or elated. I always feel the pull of wholeness, all that is, all I am. And then we'll switch it up. All I can be, yes. My heartbreak makes me bigger. My heartache makes me strong. My heartbreak makes me figure all the places I belong. Sometimes I feel hungry. Sometimes I feel full. Sometimes sad or elated. So I always feel the pull of wholeness, all that is, all I am, all I can be. Your heartbreak makes you bigger, your heartache makes you strong. Your heartbreak makes you figure all the places you belong. Sometimes you feel hungry, sometimes you feel full, sometimes sad or elated. You always feel the pull of wholeness, all that is, all you are, all you can be. Our heartbreak makes us bigger, our heartache makes us strong. Our heartbreak makes us figure all the places we belong. Sometimes we feel hungry, sometimes we feel full. sometimes sad or elated. So we always feel the pull of wholeness. All that is, all we are, all we can be. My heartbreak makes me bigger. My heartache makes me strong. My heartbreak makes me figure all the places I belong. Sometimes I feel hungry. Sometimes I feel full. Sometimes sad or elated. So I always feel the pull of wholeness. All that is, all I am, all I can be.
I like all you am. I did change it on the last. Oh, I like the little house on there.
I ride my bicycle past your window.
Embrace who I am today. Let go of who I was before the time. Take only what I need with me. Leave behind hurtful memories. Once I have learned
Good morning, and welcome to February. Groundhog did not see its shadow yesterday, or whatever it means, early spring, supposedly.
I've been moving.
Oh, yeah. So the theme for February is divine discomfort. And today's theme is lessons in being uncomfortable. I don't suppose any of us are ever uncomfortable in our skins or in our lives. But just by the chance that you may be. But first of all, I want to recognize that February is also Black History Month. In 1926, Carter G. Woodson established Negro History Week. And I did not know that until the other day. I saw it on the readout. And I was surprised that I never knew that. But growing up back in the 60s, late 50s and 60s, we didn't have a lot of ethnic history. We had just, I guess, what you call history, which I think is an injustice to everyone. I'm just speaking my views, and now they want to cut out teaching, certain histories in schools, particularly in Florida, which I believe is totally wrong. We need to know the histories of everyone, Okay, so, which later became Black History Month. The week was celebrated during the second week of February to commemorate the birthdays of Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass. Woodson, who was known as the father of Negro history, dedicated his life to promoting education about African American history and culture. He noticed that Black figures and their achievements were not well represented in the school curriculum. In 1915, he established the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History, which is now known as the Association for the Study of African American Life and History. And I just remembered I had this quote from, by Maya Angelou, and it goes like this: "Won't it be wonderful when Black history and Native American history and Jewish history and all U.S. history is taught from one book, just U.S. history?" That's Maya Angelou. Yeah, wouldn't it be wonderful if we were able to learn about all of our brothers and sisters? So today is about being uncomfortable and how to, how to deal with it. And being uncomfortable, I think that happens quite a bit. I know it does with me. And, excuse me. The comfort zone is the great enemy of creativity. Moving beyond it necessitates intuition, which in turn configures new perspectives and conquers fears. And that was by Dan Stevens from My Week on the Porch. I believe that, that a lot of discomfort does, and uncomfortability, that word again, which is not a word, but I've been saying it because I've been reading it where it was written.
Discomfort is the actual word.
I know, but now it's already established in my brain. I need to get out of that rut. Fear. Fear, I think, causes most of the discomfort in our lives, and our being uncomfortable in situations where, I know, like if you're going into your first day at work at a new job, or before that, the interview. Thank God I haven't had to go on an interview for a job since 1986, I guess it was the last one. I don't know how I do. No, I did go in another interview, that's right, I forgot about that interview at school. But I get so nervous. And afterwards, a lot of times you walk out there and say, that wasn't bad at all. Why did I get so nervous? Why did I get so upset? Why did I allow this to maybe hold me back a little bit? All we have to do is go in and be ourselves. I know getting into ministerial school, we had several panels they were like, well, kind of like an interview. And each one, in a sense, it got easier. Because, for me anyway, I got to the point where you just go and be who you authentically are. And there's no need to be nervous, no need to be, uncomfortable. Because the people that are in the interview are human too. I hope they are. And a lot of times they understand what's going on and maybe give you some slack and make you feel more. I think one of the most comfortable panels I had in ministerial school was down in California when we went in to become licensed ministers. Because the people in there, actually, the three ministers that were in there made me feel comfortable. When I was comfortable, it was easy to say what I needed to say and answer the questions that they had. So you have the power to consciously shape your experience of change. We embrace it as an opportunity for personal growth and transformation. If we embrace this, the opportunity, this experience of being uncomfortable, because I know something good is going to come out of it. It's a change. And where would we be in life? We'd be in life if there was no change. I think it would be kind of boring. Everything was the same thing every day, and we were the same people every day. Although we wouldn't know any better, but I believe it would be very boring because change is inevitable. It's something that happens continuously. So we let being uncomfortable to be our guide. Allow being uncomfortable to be our guide. We start today and unlock our true potential for a fulfilling and joyous life. We start in this moment allowing this being uncomfortable, this discomfort to help us grow. Because change I think is the fertilizer that adds to the seed of our growth. If we didn't have change, would we grow? Would we expand our mind, expand our hearts? I don't know. I don't think so. So life is full of being uncomfortable. They use this example of birth, for instance. Birth itself is a shift from a warm, nurturing safety to cold, terrifying chaos. And it is our very first experience of divine discomfort. We come out of that warm place where we have to do absolutely nothing. And when we're born, there's a short period of time in our lives where we really, everything is taken care of for us. And then we move on, and we have to start doing things to care for ourselves. Some people don't. Some people let other people take care of them all their lives. And personally, I don't think that's healthy. I mean, we need support now and then. We need comfort. We need, to be raised up. but not 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because we have to stand and do our own thing. Because we are these magnificent expressions of the divine. Just think about it. Think about all the people you see in one day, and how different they are, how different they may look, they may talk. But underneath, that part is the same. We all breathe. We all have our hearts that beat. We all have people that we care about, and they care about us. Life is a complicated, magnificent, and nuanced glory. And living it is bound to be uncomfortable. Living life, generally, we will be uncomfortable. There's like three big ways about being uncomfortable. 3 reasons why you may feel uncomfortable. One is physical health. Subtle changes in the body can cause unexpected discomfort. Lack of sleep, lack of nutrition, or feeling hungry can cause discomfort, or may cause you to be, what was Emma say, angry?
Angry.
You can become angry.
Angry.
And when you're hungry. Musculoskeletal conditions like an arthritis and acute viral disorders can cause a general sense of discomfort. Anything that causes pain or discomfort in the body is something that makes us feel uncomfortable. I know when I'm not feeling good, I'm really not a good person to be around sometimes, because it affects my whole way of being. I've tried to, I do try to put on a happy face, but I had people in my life, my first partner used to say, I that he knew when I was not feeling good or whatever, because just look at my eyes. Certainly we tell people other things about ourselves by certain ways we act. Mine, and a lot of times, is my eyes. The body can reflect emotional stress. This is emotional stress. The body can reflect emotional stress even when the thinking mind is unaware of it. Sometimes we don't consciously know that something's going on. There's times in our lives when I know that I'm reacting to something, reacting a certain way, and I don't understand why. For instance, the month of October used to be a very different month. I'm not quite sure. There's a lot of discomfort in October. And one year all of a sudden I think, why is this going on? And then I realized that October, I have so many events that have happened in October. Like I had 2 anniversaries, the death of my mother, the death of my second partner, and October is my sobriety anniversary month. So there's a lot going on, and they're all like 1 week apart, which is I thought that was a little ironic. That's kind of strange, but. So I finally figured out what it was, and I decided that, okay, I do have a lot of sorrow and like mourning going on. However, I can shift this, and I can still honor these people that were in my life and left, but I don't have to totally mourn them. I don't have to allow myself to go into that state of mourning. I can be joyful and happy that they were in my life, even a short period of time. So being in an unfamiliar environment and seeking the comfort of the familiar can also cause stress and discomfort. Like I know when I go, I don't particularly like big crowds. It's great if I have somebody with me, but if I'm alone, it's real hard to go into a room with, say, 100 people and feel comfortable. And I guess that's maybe partially because I'm an introvert, and it's hard for me to reach out, but I've gotten better over time. It takes baby steps sometimes for us to step out of this what we have a comfort zone. We want to feel comfortable where we go. Well, I do. But sometimes that doesn't happen. And this can include when we go to social events. Social anxiety can also cause fear. Fear of doing or saying something embarrassing in front of people. Like I did Toastmasters for several years, and yeah, that did help. Reverend Pamela's suggestion, that did help get out of some of the boogaboos or whatever you want to call it. But I still have that sense of, I'm going to say something stupid, like this, I hope not. And if I do, I hope people will forgive me for it. Social anxiety causes the thought of doing something stupid or embarrassing. That can also be, and nowadays there's a lot of politics going on, and to me there's a lot of discomfort there. I'm not sure how I get over that, and how you would get over it. And there's political, there's sexual, there's religion, and there's racial. All these things, when you put into a certain situation, you can feel discomfort. And then there's the idea of discomfort at home. Poorly maintained house, like if you don't have heat or your roof is leaking, things like this. If you don't take care of it, it's going to cause a lot of discomfort. And also in a home, or maybe, I don't know if I would call this a home, but a house, when there's extreme dysfunction going on. That can cause a very uncomfortable feeling or situation. And sometimes we have to get out of these situations, even though no matter how hard it is, to get out and to move on, because we're maybe not comfortable in that situation, but it's familiar. We know what's going on. Sometimes we hang on to that yucky, familiar garbage because it is familiar, and we're not growing, we're not thriving in that situation. So sometimes we have to move. We have to step out of that familiar spot so that we can move into a life more comfortable, more where we can grow, where we can be more fulfilled. Excuse me. A feeling of uncertainty can bring acute discomfort. Like the unknown, the fear, the big fear of the unknown. Like I said, with a job interview or your first day or your first date. I hate dating. The first. I am thankful that I have not had to do that in a long time. Because to me it's very scary. Because of that other part of maybe saying something stupid or doing something stupid in front of somebody that you don't know. This uncertainty feeling. For some people, a general inability to process ambiguous situation can even fuel chronic anxiety disorders. some of these situations, if you're a person that tends to get anxious, it can fuel that anxiousness. And I know when I get anxious, I hate that feeling. When I first experienced that, I didn't know what it was. And it was, kind of driving me crazy. Because when I don't know what something is, it drives me crazy. But once I realized it, I said, I do not like this feeling. I do not like feeling anxious. So there's certain things that I can do where I can overcome it. Breathing is a good thing, to release some of that. And so this is uncertainty can intensify how threatening a situation feels. And that was by Emma Tonovic, a psychiatrist with the Boston Consulting Group in Philadelphia. Fear, that lovely fear. Fear is good and fear is bad. Fear is good because it's a warning a lot of times. Like meeting certain people, fear, like if you're meeting somebody for the first time, it's a good thing to meet them in a public space where you can feel safe and comfortable. And fear is, one of the biggest causes for this being uncomfortable, being in discomfort. Fear of failure. Feel that we're gonna fail in a situation, in a job, in a relationship. Fear of the outcome of a certain situation. We don't know how this is going to turn out. And in some situations, there's not a lot we can do. To me, you have to have that faith that it's going to turn out exactly the way it's supposed to turn out. The faith of the divine, not the faith in, but the faith of the divine. Having that faith that you know that this situation is going to turn out exactly the way it should. It may not turn out exactly the way we want it, but just like if I want something and I'm treating for it, say I want a red car, which you have a red car, but I get a blue one, which is great. Like this last time we went out looking for a car, we weren't looking for any specific color. It just turned out that this car was, we felt was a decent price, a decent car, and we bought it. So sometimes what shows up is a little bit different than what we expect, or a situation turns out a little bit different than, but I found out in the long run, a lot of these situations that have turned out different have been better than what I would have expected or anticipated. Not always, but sometimes. Fear is the good and bad emotion. Like I said, it's the good emotion is it's a warning. Like, looking before you cross the street is a good thing, because the fear of getting hit, is right there. There's a lot of movies nowadays that this person thinks they got away with something, and all of a sudden they walk onto the street and they didn't get away with it because they didn't look. A bus appeared and they disappeared. So it's fear. The good fear is to be aware of your surroundings, your situation, and look for the warning signs. Recognize your own power, because we have power, each and every one of us. Sometimes we don't think we do. And your potential for positive transformation. When you embrace change, releasing limiting beliefs, and cultivate awareness, engage in affirmative practices, seek support, and take inspired action. I like it. First of all, to embrace change. When I was younger, much younger, I used to say, I love change. As time goes on, you know, I do not like change. And I realized that the changes that I don't like are the changes that I have none, no, or little control over. That's when, like when I got transferred from Everett to Auburn, when I was working at Boeing, and I was so angry and so it's a word I want to use, but I won't, upset about it, in great discomfort, because I didn't have a choice in the matter. And I'm a big person about choice. Except when you might ask me, you know, what I want for dinner, what do I do? Then I'm a little wish-washy. And to release the limiting beliefs. Because we have, most of us, a lot of us, some of us, have this belief that there's not enough to go around. That if I get what I want or I need, most of them are what I want because I always get what I need, then maybe the next person won't get what they need. But that's not true. I know it's hard to fathom that when you see, you know, starving individuals, people on the streets. But we do get what we need at whatever in that specific time of our lives. We get what we need, not always what we want. So if we release these limited beliefs that, you know, there's not enough, or that I'm not good enough, and then if we engage in affirmative practices, positive practices like affirmations, for instance. I got to share this story about when I was in Egypt. We were going down into this pyramid, and the entryway going down was kind of narrow, kind of steep, and you went down backwards. And there's just a string with hanging light bulbs, you know, and I was creeping out, you know, and I was getting nervous. Well, there was a practitioner going down before me, and she started doing affirmations. And that's one time when I was in a situation where I really had never done that before, and that changed the situation for me. It changed the feelings. By the time I got down there, it was fantastic down there. It was beautiful. But to get there, and sometimes in life, that's the way it goes, you know? We're going through something, but the idea is to go through it. Like in the 23rd Psalm, you know, going through the valley of death, you're passing through it, you know? You're not building a condo, you're not setting up camp there, but you are passing through it. And that's like life. We have situations where we have this discomfort that we're going through, but we're going through it. That's the magic word, to go through it. Like when somebody passes away. It's one of the hardest things in life for me when that happens. But eventually we go through it. We don't forget the person. It's just that the pain somehow lessens as we move through life. And that's with all situations. We go through them. We don't hang on to them. Because if we hang on to them, then we're not living full. There are lessons to be learned in being uncomfortable. Change is uncomfortable, which means life can be uncomfortable. In the science of mind, the discomfort of changing highlights the importance of embracing conscious awareness, positive, not wishful thinking, that is based in principle and aligning our beliefs with the creative power of the universe. By embracing change with openness and releasing resistance, because we all know that resistance is futile, we can experience personal growth and create a more fulfilling life. If we release resistance, that's a good one. It's not easy for me to release that, but eventually over the years, it takes, the whole thing we talk about, I think, well, I do it in Science of Mind, is practice, practice, practice. And if we practice releasing, sometimes it's a little bit of time, just like walking. It's one step at a time. By doing this, we can actually, experience a more fulfilling life. There's this quote in the Science of Mind that says, nature will not let us stay in any one place too long. I read that and I go, ain't that the truth? Nature will not let us stay in any one place too long. She will let us stay just long enough to gather the experience necessary to the unfolding and advancement of the soul. We have different periods in our life as we move through life. I call them past lives, because as you go through maybe 5 years or 10 years, then all of a sudden, like, everything changes and you change. That life behind you is a past life, and you're moving into this new way of being. So nature demands the change in order that we may advance. So we advance when nature puts this change in front of us. We get what we need for the soul, because our soul needs feeding. We need feeding in every area of our being, and our soul is one of those. Change is the law of the universe. Without change, the world would not merely remain in a static state, but it would soon become stale and stagnant. And I believe that if we were all the same, everything repeated the same day after day after day, I get bored easily, and that would make me bored. But it would soon become, stale and stagnant. Without change, there would be no progress. Because if we don't change, like, we have certain habits that we don't like, and nobody else has those. If we don't change them, then how can we grow? Because change promotes growth. Without change, there would be no progress. For change is the essence of betterment. It's a change of growth, and that was from around the year with Emmett Fox. We grow through change, like grade school. You go to first grade, second grade. You keep growing because what you have learned. And change is that big. And we have the choice, to change or not. We can choose to be in that stagnant little stale rut, or we can work to move on, to move forward. So what we do is to embrace the power of change and unlock our potential for transformation. There's three steps here. First one is to embrace change. Recognize that change is a natural part of life and an opportunity for growth. Choose to embrace change with an open mind and a willingness to explore new possibilities. Number 2 is release limiting beliefs. I think I said that before somewhere. Identify Identify and release any limiting beliefs that hold you back from embracing your change. If there's something that won't allow you to go forward, sit down and attempt to figure it out. Ask the divine, like if you're meditating or doing your spiritual practices, and sometimes something comes up that's blocking you and you need something to show you the way. You can ask, or you can ask for more information. Like, this doesn't make a hill of sense. I need some more information, and more information will come forth. Challenge negative thoughts. Challenge those negative thoughts. And replace them with positive and empowering beliefs that support your personal growth and transformation. So shift from the negative thoughts to the positive. That's not always easy. But again, practice, practice, practice. Sometimes you may need to involve someone else in a situation to coach you, to support you. Because they may have been in a situation, similar, and they can tell you, they can't tell you what to do, but they can tell you what they did. And number 3 is cultivate conscious awareness. Develop a practice of mindful awareness to observe your thoughts, emotions, and resistance to change. Okay, those thoughts and emotions, that are allowing us to resist change. By becoming conscious of your inner patterns, you can consciously choose new perspectives and responses that align with your desired outcomes. So by becoming conscious of your inner patterns, about your thinking, and changing your negative to positive, and making different choices sometimes, can all come out to respond by making desired outcomes for what you want. We need to change certain things sometimes. Okay, and so the homework for this week, or the life work or whatever, is to do these 3 things. Just, I was going to say try, but there is no try. Just do. Embrace change. Release those limiting beliefs. And cultivate conscious awareness. Turn your negative into positive. When you come up with a negative thought, I don't think you come up with it. When it appears in your mind, this negative thought, just think, what can I do to make changes into a positive? May not be easy, but we can do it. So I have an affirmation here. I know it's here. There we go. And we'll say this 3 times. I expand beyond my comfort zone and trust the goodness of the universe to support me. I expand beyond my comfort zone and trust the goodness of the universe to support me. And one more time, just feeling that expansion. I expand beyond my comfort zone and trust the goodness of the universe to support me. And so it is. And with that, I just want to give thanks for this day. Give thanks for each person here and on Zoom, because you're here in essence. Give thanks for the sacred space that we have to meet in, to be in, to call our own. The safe space where we can go and be who we are. And I give thanks for all that has been given to this center. for the good of all things. So I give thanks and I say, Ashe,
Ashe.
Amen,
Amen.
and so it is.
And so it is.
Amen.